Hey yo everybody, how are you all doing today? Welcome to part number 2 of the 500 subscriber Q&A, where I'm going to be answering the remaining questions. There's not that much more that needs to be said, so I'm just gonna throw us straight into the action. To start us off, we've got a few questions from Electric Tunes, and first of all he wants to know what do I do or play when I'm not streaming or watching streams. Well, I'm more than likely just playing SSX and local recording, completely off stream, just trying to get good runs. And if I'm not doing that, I'm doing something like watching YouTube, talking to my girlfriend, spending time with my dog, or doing various stuff around the house. He also wants to know my opinion on Finland, which, to be honest, I don't have much of an opinion. You guys are getting that mountain from us as a 100th anniversary gift of your independence, and you're the birthplace of saunas and salmiak. I'll take it. You guys are pretty alright. And finally, Toons also wants to know my favorite movies, cartoons, comics, manga, anime, or TV. Now, to be honest, I don't spend much time doing any of these things. I stopped watching TV a long time ago. I've never been a big fan of movies. If I do watch a movie, it's likely to be a comedy movie. I don't watch many cartoons, even like teen or adult cartoons I haven't watched in a long time now, like Simpsons or Family Guy. Comics, I quite like the weekly Donald Duck magazine I get in my mail, but aside from that, I don't do much of that. And I've never been big on manga or anime either, so yeah. My entertainment is pretty much only YouTube and games and streams, because yeah, no TV or anything of the like really. Not much anyway. Next up, Snillet wants to know why do I say the 130 Metro City boost run is controversial? What's up with that? Well, basically the person behind the run has been caught cheating twice, and because of that, I don't feel it's fair to say a conclusive answer either way. It might be legit, it might not be legit, but regardless, it's banned from the speedrun.com boards because of the runner's past history. Extra wonders if I play on emulator. Yes, I do. Most of the time I play on the PlayStation 2 emulator, PCSX2, but sometimes I'll also play on the GameCube emulator, Dolphin. I also have a working PlayStation 2 console I use sometimes. He also wants to know why are the graphics good? Well, I mean, the game had pretty good graphics for its time, but that's not to say the game hasn't aged. However, when you bring it back to emulator, you can upscale the graphics. I believe on the American NTSC version you can upscale to times 10, and on the European PAL version you can upscale to times 6. So to make it prettier on streams and videos, I have upscaled as far as it goes. And finally, he also wants to know why don't EA reboot SSX. Now, obviously, I'm not an SSX employee, but they kind of tried to do that with SSX 2012. Kind of. And the game did okay, but it didn't revolutionize sales numbers by any stretch. So, my theory, at least, is that EA don't see it as profitable to reboot SSX right now. Maybe in the future they'll make a reboot or a remaster, but we'll have to see what happens. Armstrong, on the other hand, is wondering where am I from? I'm from Norway, born, raised, and pretty much never been outside of, except for a few times. Pretty much spent all of my life on Norwegian soil. Next up is Noah, the quizmaster himself, with 4 questions. And first of all, he wants to know my age. Well, my age is 19 years and 5 months. And he also wants to know what is my favorite part of any SSX game, which is a difficult question and I had to think about this for a long time actually. But sometimes I can really enjoy just grinding away at a level like mad or trying all peak races for hours on end. But in general, I guess my favorite thing across the entire franchise would be to free ride down the entire mountain in On Tour. Now, it would be to free ride down the entire mountain in SSX 3 if it wasn't for the fact that you don't have a score counter or a timer. If that mode had a score counter and a timer, that would definitely be my favorite thing to do. But as it stands, my SSX on Tour free ride is the most fun I have with the entire franchise, on average. He also wants to know my proudest gaming achievement, which once again, this is something I had to think about for a long time, but I did end up having to go with the 1658 all peak race. Like, it's the combination of having a very clear goal, i.e., sub 17, having competition, having competition with yourself and with other people as well, and not only that, but also putting in well over 1500 hours into just one single speedrun across the span of a year or around a year, maybe a year and a half. Like there are few feelings like it really. It's great, and I'd have to say it's my greatest achievement, or at least the one I feel most pride in and personal attachment to. Maybe there are things I've done that are technically more impressive, but not that I enjoyed as much and look back at as fondly. Kate Davis wants to know two things actually, but the first one I covered in part number one, so I won't cover that here. It's will I ever do different games on my channel? But how long will I do YouTube? Now, I mean, good question. Very few who go into doing YouTube and making YouTube videos probably really know a time where they're gonna want to not do it anymore. Because right now, I can't really see any ending. I'll do it as long as I enjoy doing it, and as long as I have feel like I have good content to make and share. Next up, a question I don't have a clue about. Iskremappe, aka Mentula TV, wants to know if when I go back to school, will I still have time to make SSX content? I don't know. Nobody knows. Like, I guess that, like, when you go to university, of course, you have to work and you have to try your best. But, I don't know. I guess it'll hinge on how many bad decisions I make, huh? Just how highly do I value studying as opposed to making YouTube videos. If I do proper scheduling, I'm sure I'll make it work somehow, though. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but no promises. Okay, so Victor has heard me talking about the differences between PCSX2 and Dolphin and wants me to elaborate. Now, this is pretty interesting because it depends on the specific computer you're trying to run it on, but in general, PCSX2 will run nearly perfectly on a good computer, like a computer that you can call a strong gaming computer, a fairly beefy gaming computer that was pretty top rate at least a few years ago. Now, the same kind of goes for Dolphin, except even on strong computers, it has been known to slow down occasionally. It's also more prone to graphical glitches. However, the thing is, it seems like on average, Dolphin runs better on gaming rigs that aren't super powerful. So, if you got a low to mid-range computer and you want to try your best at running this game, Dolphin might be a better bet. So if you have tried PCSX2 and it's not working, Dolphin is always worth a try. There's no guarantee it'll work because despite this game being old, it's still surprising how good of a computer you have to have if you want to run it perfectly. But I would definitely say it's worth a try. NJ Cinemas wants to incite controversy and has therefore asked me what is my least favorite character in the entire franchise. Now, in the entire franchise will actually be a little difficult to say, but I'd probably have to say Looper is my least favorite character. He just doesn't have any redeemable qualities for me. Not only that, but in most cases, his large hitbox also makes him bad for speedruns, so it's kind of like he loses on both fronts. Aside from that, like in SSX3 specifically, I don't really like Griff. He's kind of like the annoying kid type, and I'm not really a fan of what they did with his character design as well. He also feels a little bit plain too, because they center his personality traits around one general area, and I feel they do so more so than the other characters, whereas there's some variation for them, not really so much for Griff. That's just my opinion though. Diesel is wondering what made me get into speedruns of this game and on tour, and will I speedrun other games? What got me into doing runs of this game and on tour is just quite simply that I loved playing the games. I spent many hundred hours, if not even thousands of hours, playing through it casually, time and time again, before I even started getting good. And I also had a friend that was pretty good at the game, so we would compete, and one day I would see a 201 no boost Metro City run on the internet, and both me and my friend were like, we can beat that. So after about half a week of playing Metro City, he got a 2 minute time, and then a few days later, I got my 159 I talked about in part number one. Will I ever speedrun other games? I already do. I have Need for Speed Most Wanted as my secondary game, and I'll probably want to do some one-off speedruns of Need for Speed Underground 2, probably Super Mario 64 120 star, and other games like GTA 5 Any Percent, and also probably many other games I just kind of feel like playing in the heat of the moment. So lots of speedrunning ahead. Probably not on my YouTube channel though. It all goes down on Twitch when it comes to secondary games. Jay Tyler's got a couple questions up next, and first of all, he wants to know if I prefer having the attributes in the game tied to the board or the character. Basically, like, do I want to have it like it was in SSX on Tour, SSX Tricky, or do I want to have it like in SSX Bree? Now, I'm a strong supporter of the idea that cosmetic items should never be tied to your stats directly. That's just my opinion. I don't really like it, so I'd much prefer having stats separate to that. So I like having the stats tied to kind of the character instead. Like, you basically upgrade the character for money or for some form of progress. It doesn't have to be money, it can be experience, it can be whatever. Just don't tie it to cosmetic items, because what if I really like a board, but that board has rubbish stats? Huh? Ever thought of that one, game developers? Yeah? If anyone's a game developer watching this, please at least consider not doing this. Thank you in advance. He also wants to know whose signature Uber is my favorite. Now, it took me a little bit of thinking, but it came down to the pirouette grind from Kaori or the guillotine from Simon. And I think the guillotine is going to have to win out just because of its breakneck speed and the fact that you can land it earlier. A little bit of speedrunner instincts coming in there to taint my answer, but that's my final answer. First name, last name, aka Jasper, has come up with a very difficult question. And honestly, I don't know the answer, but I do have a few candidates. So, he wants to know what is my favorite song in the entire franchise, all games included. Now, it I really can't tell apart my top 5 or so, but it's gonna have to be between songs like MXPX Play It Loud, Thrice Stare at the Sun, Goldfinger My Everything from SSX on Tour, probably Avenged Sevenfold Bat Country also from on Tour, and there's also stuff like Autopilot Off Clockwork in there, and a few others. It's really a bit too difficult to tell, but those are probably gonna have to round out the top 5 at least. Woohoo's got a math question. If Griff has an average speed of 35 kilometers an hour, how long will it take him to ride down a 105 kilometer an hour slope? Now, first of all, I assume he meant 105 kilometers, and 105 divided by 35 is 3, so it would take him exactly 3 hours to ride down the slope. Math! Second to last, Etienne XD wants to know, have I ever played Minecraft and will there be a Let's Play in the future? Now, I have played Minecraft. I've actually sunk quite a few hours into Minecraft. I was never big on playing online or building, but I did do a lot of survival. When I played Minecraft, I was all about doing stuff like exploring, going into caves, and mining for resources, more so than I was building grandiose structures of incomprehensible dimensions and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have played quite a bit of Minecraft, but there will probably not be a Let's Play in the future unless I change my name, as we said, and even then, I don't really think I want to do a Let's Play on Minecraft on this channel. I think it would be more like I'd enjoy streaming the game, more so. But we'll have to see what happens. Time will tell. And that's gonna round it off, everyone. At exactly 50 questions, although some of which have been combined for the videos to make it shorter and less chaotic. But thank you all so much for all your questions. Hope you've enjoyed the Q&A videos. And thank you all so much once again for 500 subscribers. Let's see just how far we can take this, huh? Thank you all so much for watching. Have an absolutely bang up rest of your day. Take care and goodbye.